mich beim ersten Küssen. Du teiltest Lust und Heimlichkeit mit mir. Du alter Baum, zerstört von Kriegesschüssen. Du hieltest stand, ich kam zurück zu dir. Ich lehnte meine Stirn an deine Rinde, wenn es mich heimtrieb aus dem Staub der Stadt. Mit beiden Armen hielt ich dich umfangen und sah an deinem dichten Laub mich satt. Du alter Baum, du Freund aus frühen Tagen, dein Stamm ist taub und deine Rinde tot. Dir sprießt kein Blatt, es splittern deine Zweige. Wie ein Gespenst ragst du ins Morgenrot, zerstört von all dem giftbeladenen Regen. Stehst du als Zeuge und trauschall vor mir. Es war so gut in deinem grünen Schatten. Mir ist mein Freund, als stürme ich mit dir. Mir ist mein Freund, als stürme ich mit
During the Second World War, between 1933 and 1945, millions of children were displaced across Europe. Many were sent to displaced persons camps, or DP camps, or taken in by various relief agencies. One well-known refuge was a displaced children's home in the German town of Gloucester-Indersdorf. A 12th century monastery and a former girls' boarding school, Indersdorf was an international youth shelter until the UN Relief and Rehabilitation Administration designated the camp as a Jewish children's center in August of 1946. During the time that Gloucester-Indersdorf was open, it was home to over 300 young Jewish DPs before it closed in 1949. There, staff members photographed the children and distributed the images, hoping that some family members might be left alive to identify and claim them. I was very moved by the plight of these thousands of children separated from their families, whose stories I discovered through the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum's Remember Me initiative, which aims to use social media today to identify the subjects in photos who have yet, even after all these years, to be claimed. I approached the museum staff, who graciously allowed me to access their database of photos for the project, and I called this project The Missing. This is a large piece, about 8 feet long, and it shows a pre-war Jewish family portrait. As you get closer, you see that what you thought was a single photo is actually composed of thousands of smaller portraits. Each child holds his or her name on a chalkboard, except for the infants who lie with theirs. You can see that I have channel quilted between every column of photos. That's hand quilting, and for those of you who are keeping score, that's more than 32 square feet of hand quilting. But when I was done, I realized something I hadn't intended, which was that I had touched every single child's portrait at least once. And by doing so, I was remembering and honoring each one by name.
Adam Kukov, the lyricist of the next song, was a theater man. He was a director, an actor, a dramaturg, and a poet, a writer. He was also a resistance fighter and part of a resistance group called the Red Orchestra. In 1942, he was sentenced to death in the prison Berlin-Plötzensee. And he then had a little son. He was 2 years old. His name was Ule. And he wrote a poem to his son, knowing that he will never see him again. Ule, my son, my little light, you are so far away, I cannot see you.